as a presentation.
Audio or something.
Yeah, I'm trying to test it.
Biggest gig of her career, and she is here today. How are you doing?
Stories that connect us.
something's gotta give today. It's a good day today and not tomorrow. There's no time to borrow today. Well, something's gotta give today. It's a good day today. It's a good day today. It's a good day to live. Wanna be free of this heart, yeah. Wanna feel your arms around me. I need you more, need you here, more than I would like to admit. Let's forget about tomorrow, yeah. Should I hide away forever? Should I close my eyes and never again hold you tight, call you mine, think about you every time? I remember that it's over, yeah. You never break, you never lie, you never ever scared of the dark. So why am I the one who cries? I'm so afraid to be left behind. I think about you a lot. It's almost like I can't stop. Can't stop. Yeah, yeah. You never lose an argument, so I've been trying hard to pretend that I'm okay. It's just a phase, and everything is going just great. I think about you a lot. It's almost like I can't stop. Can't stop. Yeah, yeah. I always knew that this would happen. Yeah. You would find a new distraction. I need you more, need you here, more than I would like to admit. Can we let go of tomorrow? Yeah. You never break, you never lie, you never ever scared of the dark. So why am I the one who cries? I'm so afraid to be left behind. I think about you a lot. It's almost like I can't stop. Can't stop. Yeah, yeah. You never lose an argument, so I've been trying hard to pretend that I'm okay. It's just a phase, and everything is going just great. I think about you a lot. It's almost like I can't stop. Can't stop. Yeah, yeah. It's almost like I can't stop. Yeah, yeah. Can't stop. No, no. Think about you a lot. It's almost like I can't stop. I can't stop. I can't stop. Can't stop.
I look in the mirror, who's looking back at me? I don't know what happened, guess we weren't meant to be. I know we had problems, I thought we could fix them, but we got tired. There's nothing left to do but to say goodbye and try to move on. I'll get over you.
Welcome
only
to
wish
the
that
Durban
I knew how to
ICC,
go
where the
on.
world meets Africa. As a leading world-class events facility, we make your safety our number one priority. Please give us your attention for a few minutes to take you through some of the important health and safety information. Whilst here, please help us to prevent the spread of COVID-19 by following these simple steps. Upon arrival at the Durban ICC, you would have been screened.
I'll get over you. make us. But oh, how we got burned. Look at us now, we scream, we fight, and no one knows the reason.
Welcome to the
We're both
Durban
getting
ICC,
out of
where the
line.
world meets Africa. As a leading
Now
world-class
say
events
goodbye and
facility,
try to
we
move
make your
on.
safety our number one
I'll get
priority.
over you,
Please
only
give us
wish
your
that I
attention for a
knew
few
how to
minutes
go
to
on.
take you through some important health and safety
Baby,
information.
you and me, we're so messed
As
up
the Durban
together.
ICC
Even
is
if we
a
tried,
public
we'd be
space,
stuck here
please remember
forever.
to
I
keep
don't
personal
understand
belongings
right. On to something that we both know couldn't work, so we should try to say goodbye. You know we had our problems, so now we have to try to move on. Baby, you and me, we're so messed up together. Even if we tried, we'd be stuck here forever. I don't understand right now how to make it through, but I'll get over you, and it's not like I'm gonna hate you. It's what it is, nothing left that we could do. Even though it hurts right now, we will make it through. I'll get over you. Ooh, I'll get over you. Oh, I'll get over you. Gonna stay in this moment. Gonna lay here on the grass. I don't need to feel lonely. I am finally home at last. And I don't mind being gone on adventures for a while. No, 'cause the best thing about it is I know I'm coming back. Oh, oh. Of all the magic places in the world I've been to, this is where my heart is. Oh, you know it's true. No matter where I go, I'm coming home to you. Been walking down the street so many times, my feet know every brick and stone. Could wear a blindfold. No matter what I do, I'm coming home to you. And I don't know why, don't know why, don't know why I'm always feeling homesick. Oh, all I know is this is where my I have seen many places where the beauty never ends. Only phrases, and perhaps I'm going back. But I don't have to be chasing every dream that I have. Oh, no. 'Cause the thing is, I've got more.
Good morning, ICC. Good
than I
morning.
can bear.
If you are coming here at hall number 3, please make your way in. We've got 5
Of all
minutes
the
left, then we
magic
can go
places
straight
in
into
the
our
world
program
I've
for
been
today.
to, this is where my heart
Uma
is. Oh,
uze
you
kuhall
know
number
it's
3
true. No
sihlangene
matter where I
ngaphakathi.
go, I'm coming home to you.
Sizokwazi ukuqala namhlanje.
Been walking down the street so
4
many
minutes
times,
and
my
counting.
feet know every brick and
Sizokwazi
stone.
ukuvala
Could wear a
iminyango.
blindfold. No matter what
Thank
I
you.
do, I'm coming home to you. And I don't know why, don't know why, don't know why I'm always feeling homesick. Oh, all I know is this is where my heart is. Oh. all the magic places in the world I've been to. This is where it is.
That was such a long time ago. Maybe we've grown apart. Maybe we weren't meant to be right from the start. But I remember those days with joy in my heart. It's all that behind us now. Now all that I have left are memories of you and me. Maybe that is for the best, 'cause you're not the same as you used to be. And maybe we've grown apart. Maybe we weren't meant to be right from the start. But I remember those days with joy in my heart. It's all that behind us now. We've grown apart. Maybe we weren't meant to be right from the start. But I remember those days with joy in my heart. It's all that behind us now. Maybe we've grown apart. Maybe we weren't meant to be right from the start. But I remember those days with joy in my heart. It's all that behind us now.
About to leave, already packing. Come with me, I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions. We'll get away, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out, die with my own doubts. Be free with me. Be free. Be free with me. Be free. Not looking back, eyes on the freeway, Bonnie and Clyde, a classic cliche. We're on the run, this is what we waited for. Oh, yeah. Take my hand,
Ladies and gentlemen,
we'll
please,
make it
you may take the
somehow.
front seats as well.
We can't miss out.
There's no seat that is reserved for anyone.
I'm done
Please
living
move to
life
the
with
front.
the lights out,
We are
die
starting
with
in
my
exactly 1
own
minute.
doubts.
Those who are at the back, please you may go to the front. Like the ladies who are standing, you may go and sit in the front. No one is counting money here. There's no taxi driver, please. The front is very fronty. Okay. Please come forward so that we can also have the national anthem coming up, and we would love to have everyone stationed.
Be free.
Please do join in.
Be free with me. I'm gonna let the sun shine in today.
You're welcome to the ICC Durban.
Trying to make this darkness go away.
It is exactly 1 minute after 10.
I'll paint with
We may
colors
begin.
and I'll sing until my lungs give
Let
out.
us listen to
I'm gonna let
the
the
safety
sun
message
shine in
from the Durban ICC.
and I will leave my
Just pay attention.
windows
Just under 2
open
minutes
so
of your time.
that I
Thank you.
can hear the sound of people talking, the wind blowing in the trees.
Welcome to the Durban ICC, where the world meets Africa. As a leading world-class events facility, we make your safety our #1 priority. Please give us your attention for a few minutes to take you through some important health and safety information. As the Durban ICC is a public space, please remember to keep your personal belongings safe and with you at all times. We have many bathrooms for you to use around the venue. They are clearly marked in the foyer and concourse areas. The Durban ICC is a smoke-free building, but we do have clearly marked smoking zones outside the main entrance and in the courtyards opposite the concourse. Please make use of these areas and the ashtrays provided when you smoke. In the event of a medical emergency, please dial the emergency number 031 360 1111 for assistance. The Durban ICC has developed a very simple emergency evacuation plan that everyone must be familiar with. Our staff are specially trained and will be there to assist you in following this plan. In the event of an evacuation, an announcement will be made to leave the venue. Please remain calm and walk swiftly to the nearest emergency exit in the concourse area. These exit doors are clearly marked. Security guards and the marshals will also help direct you out of the building. Please do not use any lifts or escalators in the event of an emergency. Once outside, you will be directed to the nearest assembly point by the marshals for your safety. Please wait at the assembly point until the venue has been cleared and a marshal deems it safe for you to return to your seats. Thank you for your time and enjoy this event.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, let's all rise up for the national anthem. Thank you. Thank you. You may clap for your country. Yes. Because I saw my brother there with the sunglasses, but hey, he's holding himself back. You can still clap for your beautiful country. We do have a beautiful country, by the way. And you guys do the best of bringing the best out of that through film, TV, you name it. So you maybe know better than I do. You travel to locations, some of us who are here are funders of those excursions. We have investors here also in the film industry, so I believe it's going to be exciting. I hope you're excited to be here. Are you? You guys haven't met in 5 years. Huh? The last time you met was 2017. So you can imagine the excitement that you should have. Can you just clap for yourselves? By the mercy of God, I've got just under 23 years of being in the radio and entertainment industry as a DJ and also as a broadcaster at my young age. I've been to quite a number of MC events where I'm doing this kind of work, but I thought today will be more exciting. I don't see you guys that you're excited. Even funeral parlors have better engagements than these, so you better be excited. Are you excited to be here? Can you imagine abantu are happy when they come together? You guys make money, you make stars, you create people, you launch careers, you may as well clap for yourselves, So I want to welcome you. Yes, go ahead, sir, please, go ahead and clap. Yes, you seem like you have a funeral parlor. Thank you so much. My name is Vuma, or else DJ Vuma from KZNFilm. So I'm really excited to be here so I can learn more about the industry as well. And then I'm very teachable. So if there's anything that I should learn, definitely this is the day. But I think I'm the only one who's allowed to walk here. The rest will come here to the stage because you want to see them. Is that fine? Is that fine if I move around? Okay. Because I'm trying to get the mood right for you guys. I'm not a comedian, but if you want to have a joke, you can look at me and just laugh. I'll be the joke for the day. So I think that will work, at least. Welcome to this beautiful day. 5 years later, you guys are meeting. We have the SABC here. I'm sure everyone wants to know how to get some money out of those people. That's lovely. You guys need to, oh, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, you need the money, It's not only cable that has the money. Our national broadcaster, we're definitely looking forward to hearing from them as well. I'm going to be letting you know as to what's to come today, and tomorrow's going to be a bigger day, I believe. I believe you've had tea this morning. Have you had tea? Huh? You're not hungry? Okay, it means then we got a lot of work to do. I welcome you to today's KwaZulu-Natal Provincial Film Indaba. Just clap a big round of applause for them, please, for putting this day together and tomorrow. I've already seen people who've benefited from some programs that this commission has been hosting, particularly this year. Script writing programs, you name it. I've noticed quite a few, they're already here. So you know that the commission is working quite a lot. So just give them a big round of applause for encouraging them, please, for a bit of encouragement. Without going any further, I would like to call up our sister from the KZNFilm chairperson, Ezengapambili Umis Nise Malange, to give us the opening welcome and to set the mood for us today. Just give a huge round of applause. Thank you, ma.
Good morning. Good morning. Sanbonani. I think DJ Ebeshuguti, the mood should be jovial, should be happy, but I know that maybe time has also dented the spirit this morning. I know some of us, we're old school. If it's 8 o'clock, it has to be 8 o'clock. We come from old school of Ondisa, Kwekwe, and time. But I'd like to greet you this morning and say, our kingdom is your stage. And our city of eThekwini and KwaZulu-Natal welcomes our guests who are coming out of the province, from Gauteng, from Cape Town, from Limpopo, anywhere where you come from, you know, as well as welcoming our filmmakers that I know are coming from all corners of KZN. Others arrived last night, and others are probably arriving as we speak. I want to welcome you this morning. We come from yesterday, Human Rights Day. We saw the national shutdown, and without the cameras clicking everywhere during all these activities, there wouldn't be a history documented. So all of us here, being in front or behind the camera, your role are very, very important in documenting the history of this country. And I think we've got a bigger role in also making sure that the stories of KZN, eThekwini, South Africa, of the past and the present are captured. And the role of filmmakers in our country today is very, very, very important, because without that, history can be easily distorted. We see how politics, are moving, and we see memories are being forgotten. It is very, very important that we continuously tell the stories of our beautiful country. Something like really strange that I did this morning, because I was anxious to be here at 7:30. I brought only the cap of my glasses. I left my glasses at home, so I'm gonna be squinting a lot this morning. I'd like also to welcome our board. Some of are here, and the executive. But before I can continue talking about the board, we've just lost our deputy chairperson, John Wills, in a tragic motorcycle accident about 2 weeks ago. In honor of his contribution as a legal person, as a person who had passion for film, we had worked and represented a number of filmmakers. I would like, through your permission, program director, just to have a moment of silence to remember John Wills. Thank you. Thank you. We gather here today to start our 2 to 3 days engagement, looking at collaborations, review of our strategy, examine our success and failures, look at challenges facing the film industry, insufficient funding, look at regulatory barriers, redress, and transformation. We're coming out of 2 years of lockdown, then the unrest and the floods in KZN. We are faced with crime, gender-based violence and femicide, unemployment, poverty, the blackouts. All these have impacted negatively to the economy of the country as well as the film industry as a whole. We already were thin on cinemas, and COVID has just exacerbated that. We're aware that some of the cinemas have to close down. And we're quite aware that in our townships, cinemas like Umlazi, KwaMashu closed down long time ago. As we were planning to reopen and then more cinemas, closed down. And I'm not sure how we're gonna negotiate that path again. Working together is a must for the creative industries, not just the film, through the value chain. Film and television in particular, because that's the source of education, information, entertainment, knowledge for our people. Film is a very powerful tool to document history, to tell past and present stories, to showcase the heart and soul of the country. We are contributing towards educating communities, nation building, social cohesion, and we also need to be upfront about racism and tribalism, as well as the xenophobia that is engulfing our country. Let's us debate in order to build each other. Let's come up with new strategies and energy of cooperation and collaboration. We're here today, and a lot of political activities happening in preparation for 2024 elections. And the cameras and everyone would be out there. Where are we putting ourselves as the creative industries, as well as film and its value chain in terms of policies going forward? Because we're quite aware that creative industries is the one that brings a lot of money as well in the country. But when funds are cut, we're the first one, to be targeted, because somehow we get to be seen as entertainment. And forget that when that entertainment is not there, the country is doomed. So as we gather here, we also need, apart from telling the stories, we also need to look at what type of policy regulation that our country, because it starts from the top and then escalates down to the provinces as well as local government. What kind of environment do we want to see for the industry in the next 10 years? What are our strategies to achieve that? We are going to be looking at the policies of the broadcasters. We're going to be looking at the Film Commission as the commission. NFEF are here. I think DTIC is here. I think more than anything else, as we network, we also need to look at how best can we work together as government entities that are funding film. We need to have a kind of dialogue that get us to talk and look at the gaps and close those gaps. We need to be able to influence regulation and policies of government in terms of the challenges that you as filmmakers in turnaround time, in terms of other issues, like, for instance, are we too tight in terms of compliance? I've heard other countries say that we're too much paperwork in this country. Does that kind of 40-page paperwork in terms of agreements work for us as creatives? And these are the conversations that we need, to have, because if we don't advocate change, we are going to be pushing paper, but if filmmakers are helping to advocate the change and making sure that there's an environment that is created that allows creativity to flow, that allows people with stories to work together and come up with, brilliant features, documentaries, and television, like programs. We are here to network. I know that we had a late start, but I'm really hoping that we're going to use the opportunity here, either through breakaway groups during lunch and breaks, to network and see how we can work together for the better film industry in our province and in our country. And I'd like to thank you, all of you who has taken the time to be here for these 2 to 3 days. And I wish the best of this Indaba, and hoping that something good will come out of 2 to 3 days of our engagement. And I'd like to thank you again for participating, and I would like to engage with other board members that are here more with you, and let's be free and use our freedom of expression. And if where we are wrong, let's talk about that in a more civil way. We're not here to censor, we're here to build each other. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you. A louder clap for our chairperson, please. Thank you. We'll also like to welcome One KZN TV. Clap for them for making it today. Yes. Also clap for the South African Communications Industries Association. I'll update you as our guests are confirmed as well. At every meeting, conference, inkomfa, whichever name you want to call it, there's always amendments, resolutions that are taken. Amaminitho omhlangano, you name it, that will guide ukuthi kwakuhambe kanjani before. And also, the commission is not an exception. Whenever they have an engagement, there are things that need to be noted and need to be followed up on. The last time you met was 2017, and I'm not going to ask you a question, but I want, by the raising of hands, to see those who were here in 2017. Thank you, sir, for the honor. The first hand there at the back, number 2. Is there anyone else who was here? Never mind the chairperson, she's there. You're also here as well. Okay, I promised I'm not going to ask any questions, so that no one is scared. And if I say I was here, it's going to ask what happened, who took the tea last year. Can I just see the raising of hands, please, one more time? Who was here in 2017? Thank you, sir, at the back. 1, 2, 3. So most people who are here, they're coming to the commission's engagement for the first time. Huh? Can I see the raising of hands for all first-timers? That means a job well done to the commission, because it means then the industry is being open and it's developing. Clap for yourselves. We need the new blood. Now, to update us on the progress in implementing resolutions from last Indaba that was held in 2017, please welcome the KZNFilm COO, Ms. Jackie Motsepe. Even if you are not a Sundowns fan, please, you can clap. Please, because I know they are thinking, oh, this is the one. Thank you so much. Yes, you can scream. Enjoy yourselves, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Program Director, and good morning to everyone. I'm just going to wait for my presentation to come up. But as it does come up, green one. Perfect, thanks. As it does come up, I think it was quite interesting for the program director just to reflect, see a show of hands of how many people were here in 2017 and all the new people that have come through. 2017 was actually 3 years after we had officially established as a film commission. So very much in our infancy, very much in the early days of the history of the Film Commission. And it was really our first engagement with industry in the province. At that stage, we were actually able to have filmmakers from across the province in different regions of the country as well. And again, as the chairperson mentioned, we really want to welcome all the Durban-based filmmakers, but also all the filmmakers that have come from outside of Durban in the different regions of the province where we run our programs. So I will start with the presentation. So we did meet in 2017. It was the first industry Indaba. Basically, we had 3 areas of focus as a government entity. We really look at our strategic alignment to the national and the provincial strategies. As you obviously know, government have their programs, their strategies, their mandate, and as an entity, we really have to ensure that we're aligning in the space of film, whilst obviously delivering on the mandate of the film industry itself. We also looked at issues of industry coordination and standardization, as well as the transformation of the film industry. So these themes obviously still remain relevant today. It'll be interesting to see what we said then. Has there been any change, and how is this going to inform the dialogue over the next day or two going forward? So we met in March 2017 at the Greyville Racecourse, and as I've mentioned, we had representatives from Durban, Port Shepstone, Richards Bay, as well as Newcastle. Our former chairperson of the board gave that opening address. And we also had a keynote address from our MEC at the time, Mr. Sihle Zikalala, who is actually now a Minister of State. So, not sure if you can see this, but this is really just basically who was there, who we engaged with, who gave various presentations throughout the Indaba. We had Renee Williams, who came through from the SABC, as well as Tando Shozi. From our department, our Provincial Department of Economic Development, Tourism and Environmental Affairs, they'll be joining us tomorrow. But at that time, we had Ms. Fikiswa Pupuma. From the DTIC, we also had Dimakaso Homo, who gave us a presentation on the DTIC. I do believe DTIC is going to be joining us as well. David Mahlamela at that time was representing the Durban International Film Festival. Rihad Desai represented the South African Screen Federation. And we had Kevin Jones, who will be, I'm sure he's here also joining us. Hi, Kevin. Really speaking about the South African Communication and Industries Association. It's a very important aspect, and it's good that we have a lot of first-timers who are actually going to be receiving this information for the first time. It's quite important that we're informed of the work that they do. So I'm really just going to go briefly. It's a fairly long presentation. I'm not going to touch on everything. But at the time, the SABC was sharing with us that they had spent 1.4 billion on local content in 2016, so that was the previous year. And their planned spend for 2017 was 1.9 million. They obviously spoke about the success of Uzalo, which is fairly new in the province at that time, and they had assisted the project to develop infrastructure in the province. I'm sure most of us are aware that from 2017 till now, the infrastructure for Uzalo has grown quite substantially, in the location where they are in Durban, and it obviously remains a soap that is doing exceptionally well. So there was also an intensive presentation, actually, just on the whole SABC commissioning process and how that works. Etia we had at that time just concluded a provincial film strategy. So Etia had taken the conference through that strategy. There were three main focus areas. That still remains the provincial film strategy that we are implementing as KZNFilm Commission. But the focus of that strategy is your business video. This is really how you structure your business, ensure that there's cash flow, your business remains sustainable. So as you're working on your film projects, your documentary projects, you look at what other opportunities are out there for your company, you know, such as corporate videos, commercials, and other offerings. And it's something that when we run our SMME incubation programs as the Film Commission that we've been running every year since, this is really what we focus on. How do you structure your business in a manner that keeps it sustainable? Another focus of the provincial strategy is Zulu content. There was quite a bit of research done, you know, on the isiZulu language, you know, obviously the number of speakers in the country across the SADC region, and obviously it then becomes a priority for the strategy, for the Film Commission in terms of developing content, but also, you know, just harnessing that potential audience that is out there. Who will consume the Zulu content. There's also a very big focus in the strategy of digital visual entertainment. This is really now looking at 4IR, things like VFX, special effects, animation, and it's an area that we are delving into as the Film Commission. Starting pretty much in the space of animation, where we have an animation hub stationed in our offices, quite a number of interns that we support there, and they are developing content from that hub. So it's an area that we have to learn a lot about, but it's very, very important that we do develop in this space. With the DTI, there was quite an extensive presentation on the film incentive programs that they had at the time. We do know that there have been changes to that incentive, so we're looking forward to hear from the DTI what do the incentives program look like now. But they spoke to us about the foreign film and television production and post-production incentive, South African film and television production and co-production incentive. And they also obviously gave us a special presentation on the South African Emerging Black Filmmakers Incentive, and as well as the sub-programs. So that is what was shared with us then by the DTI, but as I've mentioned, it'd be good to get an update, you know, from the DTI on what incentives are currently available for the industry. Durban International Film Festival obviously spoke about the festival itself, the African focus, as well as the South African focus, global films that also are presented at the festival, industry program that was running at the time, as well as the, I think this was prior to the current programs that run now, but we will get an update from DIF on those programs. Community engagements, these were basically community screenings that would happen throughout the Durban International Film Festival, as well as the inclusion of the screening of micro-budget films. So that was the presentation that we had from DIF in 2017. SASFED, again, they will be joining us. They spoke to us about industry coordination. But firstly, I think really emphasizing that filmmaking is a business and should be taken seriously. So they're really emphasizing the business aspect of the industry, in as much as it's a creative industry, but on the other hand, we need to look at film as a business. Our speaker then, Rihad Desai, he placed an emphasis on concentrating on decolonization and not transformation from where he was standing, as this would bring along the change required to grow the film industry. SASFED is a national federation of independent film, television, and audiovisual content industries. they will be coming to speak to us, so I think they'll be able to obviously explain who they are and their mandate. The membership at the time: Animation South Africa, Documentary Filmmakers Association, Independent Producers Organization, the Personal Management, the PMA, South African Guild of Actors, Editors, and Writers. So that was pretty much the composition of SASFED at that time. We do know that there has been growth within the organization. And Kevin is here from Sakia. He's really going to be taking us through what the organization does in terms of standards and ethical business practices. As I've mentioned, I think it is an important presentation for us to take in. And because he will be presenting to us today, I will just leave it at that. But the filmmakers that were there at the time were able to get that information. So we had a number of breakaway sessions at the time. We looked at facilities, infrastructure, and locations. We didn't have studios then. We still don't have studios now. It was quite a burning topic at the time. But they were looking at facilities being available throughout the value chain to ensure that filmmakers, benefit at every point. There is the film cluster, which looks at servicing filmmakers rather than studios itself. So they were encouraging at the time the establishment of a film cluster, which we didn't have, but we have since put that in place. Post-production facilities, that was a very, very big topic of discussion, that we don't have post-production facilities in the province. It would be interesting to hear the deliberations now from filmmakers. Is that still an issue? Do we still need to establish that type of infrastructure in the province? At the time, we were providing edit suites, which were identified as a need, and we still do provide edit suites in our cluster. There is a need still for us to develop in this space, so it would be good to get feedback from conference as to, is this still a need? To what extent is it a need, and what is it that we could be doing better in this space? There was also a discussion on the need to have a sustainable industry in order to have a studio. So there does need to be sort of an active film industry in place so that we don't build studios as a white elephant. But definitely there has been a lot of growth in the industry. There is more talk about establishing studio facilities in the province. There is more talk about a need for us to definitely have studios so that we can service the local industry, but also see how we can start attracting international productions to come and shoot in the province. There was a debate on the lack of qualified trained crew, especially at the heads of department level. It would be interesting to hear from Indaba this year as to whether is that still a challenge. Do we still have a lack of heads of department? It's something that we are still definitely working on as the Film Commission. We've done quite a bit of training through a program that we call FITI, the Film Industry Transformation Initiative, where we are developing graduates primarily in order to prepare them for these types of roles. Then there was the issue of basically accommodation costs. This is linked to the fact that productions must come in, if they are going to be coming in from different parts of the country. It adds, to the bottom line of their budget, and how are we managing that? And we had at the time, and we still do, have MOUs with hotels and private facilities. But the team will be speaking about that. So if that is an interest of yours, it'd be good to get into that session and hear how we've grown from where we were in 2017 to where we are now, where we've got a wide range of agreements with different private service providers. We spoke about the fact that, yes, we do have fantastic locations. How can we better utilize, how can we better access those locations? And we do have, since then, established a program that really enables productions to access locations, working very closely with municipalities. We've spoken about establishing an industry and then a studio, but I think it's probably about time that we have a studio in KZN. There was a need to create content for the low budget model. That was something that conference was asking for at the time. We have since then had several programs for low budget films through what we call our Made for TV program. We've produced quite a lot of content that's gone on to a number of platforms from your multi-choices, and we also had a partnership with BET where these programs were broadcast. So that is something that we've taken from conference, and we actually implement that every year. Indaba also spoke about government and private sector partnerships are required to develop industry as well as to develop a studio. So again, this is still work that needs to be done. You know, work in terms of bringing the private sector into the industry is something that we haven't quite been successful at as yet, as an industry as a whole, I must say. I think it's not just peculiar to KZN. But there has been discussions with the Film Commission from the private sector wanting to see how they can develop film studios in the province. So we're hoping that those discussions can bear fruit, and we will be able to have studios in the province quite soon. The conference also spoke about looking at facilities in the regions and investing in them rather than focusing on a big studio. So smaller studios spread across the province. So I think this is something that is still on a sort of a to-do list because studios, as I've mentioned, we haven't really broken the ground as far as that's concerned. Partnerships with municipalities are required to facilitate the activities in the regions and at district level. So we now have formed very strong partnerships with all the municipalities across the province. Every year the team goes out and they do the municipal visits, really speaking to the municipalities of how to make the areas film friendly, how to issue permits. The team also travel with the photographer and they take, you know, location pictures. And I think that we will be launching a website, you know, profiling all the images from different parts of the province. But it's also showing us how do you access those locations. We've got the geographic locations of the province, but we also ensure that every image that we put up on the website is accessible for filming. So there's been quite a bit of work that's been done in that regard. Then there's a need to look at environments that have accessibility for people with disabilities, and all facilities that are established must consider this. So we have developed a disability strategy. We are working with the organization that deals with people living with disabilities in the province, really looking to see how, firstly, we can make our content more accessible. And in that regard, we've had what is called an audio description program. I think by now we should have described at least more than 10 films. These are our local funded films, just to make them accessible to people who are audio impaired. So that is a program that we've worked on, but there are other initiatives that we are looking to work on more fully with the Disability Association, and we also do have an MOU with them. Creating distribution portals that showcase local movies made in the province. So distribution is an area that we still have to look into, marketing, distribution, and really getting our content out there. I think the game changer recently has obviously been the introduction of Netflix into our region. Amazon is also now established an office in Cape Town. So that has definitely provided additional distribution platforms for the industry. But there is still a need to see how we can get the content that we fund and produce to reach our audiences, firstly, but secondly, for there to be a return on investment for the filmmaker, for the films that they produce. Outdoor spaces must be recognized by using iconic buildings. Just in terms of outdoor spaces, the team, have been doing quite a lot of outdoor screenings in different parts of the province, working with municipalities, getting the communities to come and see, enjoy, and support local content. But as they do that, they also basically present the services that are available to the industry. KZN should ensure that when regional hubs are established, discussions are held with municipalities and ensure that there is proper management of the facilities. So discussions with municipalities have started. We do have facilities. I'm going to forget the area now. I think it's in the Pink area, but also in the South Coast, where we work with Smart Exchange, and we have provided some facilities. It's a very, very small start. Obviously, a lot more work needs to be done there. Bylaws are restrictive for filmmakers. So again, we'd need to hear, has there been any improvement with filming in the province, eThekwini, as well as across the province. As I've mentioned, we are working with municipalities to try and make the areas more film-friendly. Has this been your experience, or are you still facing challenges? Look at refurbishing existing facilities. I think Uzalo, in fact, all the soaps now, Mbeu, that are shooting in facilities, we've seen how they've been able to use those facilities to successfully produce content for the broadcasters. But obviously, that is not ideal, and it would be much better if they were housed within a secure studio facility. Then in terms of audience development, this was another breakaway group that was held. The strategy researched with almost 1,000 surveys in each district in the province in 4 parts. And this was a strategy that had been developed internally by the Film Commission. 30% of the budget had to be spent on marketing and promotion of film. So this is the ideal model. It'd be good to know if that is the case. Are we spending the majority, well, at least 30% of our budget on the marketing and the promotion of film? From where we're sitting, we don't see that to be the case. Marketing and distribution is still very much a challenge in the film value chain, and it's something that thank you. Thanks so much. And it's something that we definitely need to work on. But as the Film Commission and other entities, are we providing enough funding in that regard, and is that something that we need to look at? Home video viewing stats was greater than box office cinema. I think this is what the research was telling us. We also looked at the production rate with Nigeria, Egypt, New Zealand, and this was followed by South Africa. We know that Nigeria produces a high volume of content. I think, like us, quite a lot of their content is now going on to Netflix as well as Amazon. And where are we in terms of production on a global scale? Are we still where we were in 2017? Have we grown? Have we declined? It would be interesting to explore that. 7% of content in cinemas is local content. The rest is foreign. So that metric, from what I think we have seen, is actually going down. There's a decrease of local content that is going into cinema. Is that a concern for conference? What is it that we can do better to support films to go into cinema, if that's what we need to do? or are filmmakers looking at other distribution platforms for their content to be presented in. In terms of challenges, funding and distribution, as well as production, lack of distribution companies, language barriers, accessibility to the internet and to cinemas. So do we still have that lack in terms of distribution companies? So when a filmmaker is producing their film, do they know who to speak to when it comes to distributing that film? So we definitely do have a session on marketing and distribution this year. If this is a question that you need to have answered, I would definitely encourage you to attend that session, because I think everybody that makes a film, produces content, would want that content to reach an audience. But in order to do that, you have to work with a skilled company that can assist you to distribute that content. Local content, street vendors, pirated DVDs, some of the challenges. Local content is considered boring. That was what the research was telling us. So something for filmmakers to consider. Is that still the case? Is that why it is that our audiences are not supporting films when they go into cinema? What is the research telling us, and what has been the experience of filmmakers? So here there were basically just a range of questions that and answers that came out of the sessions in terms of the Nigerian model, in terms of other platforms that can be looked at, and is there a way to negotiate with government to decrease the cost of distribution? So is that a government priority? Is that more in the hands of the private sector? So I'm not going to go into these slides because I think it will be a repetition of what was summarized there. In terms of transformation, the discussions there were skills development programs to focus more on transformation initiatives, and I think basically resources to be accessible to PDI filmmakers as well as filmmakers with disabilities. A lot of work, I think, has been done in this regard, not just by the Film Commission, but from other partners like your National Film and Video Foundation, as well as the incentive programs, really just to encourage more PDI filmmakers to come into the industry. And I think there's been a shift, but obviously there's still a lot more work that can be done. The use of indigenous African languages should be encouraged, and I think for us, our strategy speaks to the development of isiZulu content, but also filmmakers can submit their scripts in isiZulu. I think it's something that still isn't understood by industry. I think filmmakers feel that they have to submit scripts in English, but we do have readers, on our panels that can actually read isiZulu scripts for us and make notes and recommendations. So that is still available to the industry. Okay, this is transformation. It speaks on encouraging female ownerships of businesses in the industry. So for the women filmmakers, what are the challenges there? Are you able to establish your own business? Are you able to own your business? It'd be good to understand what the issues are with regards to that. There was a lot of talk, obviously, on the BEE Charter. We will be having a session specifically on this, and I think the notes that are in this presentation will also make them available to the facilitators, really just to reflect back, see what were the discussion points in 2017, have we moved on from there, and what are the new issues that we're grappling with. Again, the question of businesses, the private sector, how can we encourage the private sector to get more involved in the industry? At the time, we did have a business breakfast with business in the province, but we still haven't been able to make that breakthrough. Industry coordination, again, these notes we will give to the panel that is speaking to that, just to see whether there has been a shift. Is industry organized in associations? Do industry feel as though they're being heard by government entities such as us? And how can we organize industry in such a fashion, or how can industry organize themselves in such a fashion that you are able to actually reach out to government entities and have your issues tabled and addressed? So those notes again will go through to the Commission. Funding obviously is a big issue. We do have a session on funding. The fund at the Film Commission has transformed quite a lot. It's grown quite substantially. And we have been in a position where we are able to fund more films. But how can we do things better? We do hear a lot about where filmmakers are unhappy. We need to keep hearing that. How can we feed that in constructively into this Indaba session so that we can look at ways of finding solutions to the challenges that the filmmakers are experiencing in the funding space? But also, what is it that filmmakers recognize that we're doing well, so that we make sure that we keep that we don't lose that, and rather see how we can make improvements in that regard. So the notes then from the funding session will go through to that panel. We also again had a discussion on training skills in the industry. We've grown enormously in this space. We've delivered quite a number of skills development programs to the industry in the province, trained a number of filmmakers from your entry level. We now have a schools program where we actually go out to schools across the province and over a weekend run training programs in film. But we also have training programs across the tiers, the 5 tiers that we've identified, where we train at different skills levels. So there is a session on that, and I think that group will also be looking to see how we've grown in the time. And again, it's an opportunity for you to let us know where do we need to start focusing our training going forward. So that was really a snapshot of the discussions that took place in 2017. A lot of them are still relevant. We've evolved in some areas, and it would be good to see and hear the discussions that come out of the panels this coming year. So thank you for your attention. Thanks.
A huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. There you have it. Thank you so much, KZNFilm Commission COO, Ms. Jackie Motsepe. Please, a big round of applause for such a detailed presentation. Thank you. We'd also like to give a big round of applause for attending today, the Attendees Filmmakers Association. Give them a huge round of applause. Let's take a break, ladies and gentlemen, and have a bit of tea. And at the back, at the foyer there, please make your way. We've got
So if you could update my slides and then display it on the monitor, you display the notes. No. You can display the notes.
Thank